Hello friends, welcome back to Nessa's Nook. So tonight I'm going to try something I've tried I think maybe once or twice before. It didn't really turn out too well. We ate it, but it wasn't the way it should have probably tasted. But I am going to try pepper steak again, but instead of doing it in the crock pot, I am going to actually do it in the Instapot. Now I know Sally has asked to have more things with like crock pots and Instapots and such. It's not that I don't try to do the things that you guys ask. I just have to work it in. You know what I'm saying? I don't a lot of times just make special videos just to work that in. I mean, I'm not going to make food that I'm not going to eat, you know what I'm saying, to show something. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it down here. What I did is I always vacuum seal my steaks. I took these out of the freezer last night. I'm going to have to take some of the fat off there and stuff. I leave the fat on there because obviously when you're cooking it in the fry pan or the grill or the air fryer, you're going to want to have the fat on there, but with this you definitely don't want the fat on there. So I'll bring it down here and show you what we're doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that open. And yes, my hands are clean if you're wondering. Throw that in the sink. I don't want to have blood all over the counter. Let me go ahead and take off that fat because I don't want that in here at all. Sink with that bag. Now I did start some rice in the Instapot, and what they always suggest to do is go against the grain. So the grain is going this way, so I'll be cutting it this way, you know, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to try to cut this as thin as possible. That's why I figure I'd bring out the chef's knife. I mean, I don't know for sure if any of you guys have ever used the Cutco knives. I highly recommend them. I mean, I know there's a lot of other way cheaper knives in the world than the Cutco knives. I've had most of my Cutco knives since about 1985. I know I had tried to sell them for a little bit. I'm not much of a salesman, so that didn't go over very well. And my mom had bought my starter kit from me after I stopped working for the company in lieu of my prom dress. So when she passed, my sister gave me all of my mom's leftover knives that she had, plus I had my own. So that gave me a nice little starting of some, and I bought some more. Now I do try to, you can send them in, or I found out if I go to a few towns over, I can actually go to the Cutco store and they will sharpen them there, and I will just go pick them back up. Because otherwise it's about 2 or 3 weeks round trip to send it into the company, but they will always sharpen these for free. So that's something that I've always liked. I know you'll see me cut some of them with the white handles. That's most of my new ones. This is my oldest knives. And then I guess they got some that's purple, and they have some that's red too. But I like the white ones personally. So I can't cut that one a little bit without cutting my finger. And I'm cutting these in half because I don't like, I mean, I guess if you're having a steak, it's another thing. I don't like the really super huge pieces of meat. So let me get that out, wash my hands again, and I'll grab out the pressure cooker, or the Instapot. Alright, so I have my 1.5 cups of beef broth here, my 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Then what you're going to be putting in here, I did start the Instapot on saute, by the way, while I'm getting this stuff around. Okay, that's going to be a 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. And then it's going to be a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Now obviously I still wouldn't ever add any salt to this because of the broth, because it'd make it too salty. If you want salt, we can add it at the table. Alright, it says add half a teaspoon of salt, but I'm not going to. And then it's going to be 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And then I've seen this in here somewhere. I'm going to add just a little bit of actual garlic too. It doesn't call for that, but I wanted to put that in. My kitchen, my rules, right? So I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir, make sure I'm reading over everything. There's cornstarch, but that's going to be later. Get this stirred up as much as I can. Let me get my little whirligig. Get that ginger all broke up in there. Now, some of the videos that I watched, some of them actually did brown this, you know, before they threw everything in there, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'll go ahead and bring up the camera a little bit. I don't know for sure if I bring this up and bring that down, if you can. You can't really still see in the Instapot. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of oil in here. And one of the things which you're going to want to do when you cook with your Instapot is that you want to make sure that when you are done, that you scrape, like if you're doing meat like this, that you scrape that off the bottom, because some people don't realize that is how you get that lovely bird nose. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and brown this for a few minutes. And then what we're going to be doing is putting that sauce in here that we just made up with the brown, the broth and everything. And then what's going to happen is we're going to add the peppers and the onions last. Once this actually gets done, so your peppers and onions are not actually just a big mess. So, this stuff over here. Alright. Because that was so hot, that cooked that really fast. And now what I'm going to be doing is taking that little bit, and I'll go ahead and pour in all the rest. I'll go ahead and hit cancel. I was on the wrong side of it. Go ahead and hit cancel for that for a minute. Get as much of those, of the meat bits off the bottom there. Now with this, some people don't realize this, that you don't have an Instapot. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. And there's a lot of my spices right down there. Make sure I put that in there too. That when you do this, you do a manual release. If you're cooking meat, your meat will actually be tougher doing that faster than letting it come down off pressure. So just to let you know. Alright, so then what I'm going to be doing is put the lid on here. And then what I'm going to do is go to pressure cook, custom, and bring this up to 10 minutes, and it's on high. And go ahead and hit start. And then what's going to happen is this is going to go ahead and start pressure cooking. The pin will come up. It'll cook for its 10 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and get the rest of this started here. Alright, so this is done. I let the last few minutes, I actually just did a natural release. And one of the videos said throw a little bit of sriracha in there just to off the different flavor of the brown sugar. So down here I have some peppers from my own garden. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those in here. And then some onions. I probably did not need to do this many vegetables. But what I'll be doing from here is I'm going to be doing this for only 1 minute to cook the vegetables, and I'll be doing a natural release. So because this pan is hot, it'll come right up to pressure really fast. So then what I'm going to be doing is a custom, go down to 1 minute, and we'll get that started. And when we get done, I have the cornstarch here with some water to make the gravy a little bit thicker. So I'll be back. Alright, so that just came off the 1 minute. So I'll go ahead and release the steam. Now what you're going to always want to do is make sure every time you open up, you know, like if it's just on the stove, you always open your lid away from you, especially on the pressure cookers, because you could really burn yourself pretty bad. And I wouldn't want to see that happen to anybody. Thankfully that's never happened to me, but you know, you never know. I mean, anything can happen. And I knew that would come back at the pressure pretty fast because of how hot the pan already was.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you'll hear the little pin drop down over here. Now this is my 6-quart Instapot. I do have a 3, a 6, and 8-quart of the Instapots. I do prefer the Instapots over the Ninja Foodies, if you're ever wondering, because I have air fryers. So, and you never try to move this or anything until that pin is down in the back. I mean, it won't let you, but if, you know, you see all these horror stories online of all these people got burnt and stuff, I think that's when they tried to make it open before it was ready. And if you ever do put milk in here, that milk will sputter and it makes a big mess, by the way. So go ahead and open that up with this thing behind you, so if anything does pop up, it's not getting you. And go ahead and put on the saute. Hit start, re-stir this up, because what you're going to be doing is trying to thicken the gravy part a little bit. See, now the peppers look really good. I don't know for sure if you guys could see those, but the peppers are not overcooked at all. I think that was a very good idea, the 1 minute. So I'll have to keep that in my little memory bank. But I'm going to go ahead and let that cook for a couple seconds, and I'll be right back. Alright, I don't know for sure if you can see this. It looks really good to me. It could probably cook for a little bit longer. I think Mark is a little bit getting impatient. He says he's hungry. Could you imagine that? So I shut this off and go ahead and put this over top of the rice. Put a little bit more of the gravy stuff on here. So anyways, this is our Instapot pepper steak with rice. So let me know if you've ever done this before. If you have done this before, did it work out for you? Did you make any changes other than what I did here? The recipe will actually be down in the comments, so you can see that. And yeah, thank you very much for stopping by. Let me put a little more gravy in this one. And you all have a very, very blessed and wonderful day.